Happy Thursday. Hi, everybody. It is September the 19th. Sorry I missed you yesterday. Yesterday actually was my birthday, and I was having fun. I was celebrating. I was doing stuff for myself. And, getting through all this traumatic trauma that I've been through, I decided yesterday was just going to be a day of doing absolutely nothing that I didn't want to do. So I just took my dog for a couple of walks and sat around and knitted on my sweater and just relaxed, had fun, enjoyed the weather. It was a little bit on the hot side, but I enjoyed it. And it refreshed me. And now today I'm ready to talk to you about traumatic childhood trauma and what that can do to the adult in you. If you're an adult. If you're still a child, this is what some of the things that will manifest, that will um, become your life if you let it, if you let the trauma get to you. I know it's hard, but what we do as children, because I had some trauma in my early childhood, I can't pick it out of, a pocket, a hat, and tell you what it was, but I feel the effects of it. I, um, in talking with counselors, because I see a counselor every month to get through all this trauma that I've been through in the last 30 years, not to mention the childhood trauma that's in talking about the recent trauma, all this childhood stuff keeps popping up. Like, I know I told y'all about um, when my mother was chasing my father around the house with a butcher knife on my 13th birthday, which ultimately caused their divorce, which was necessary, but not in that way. Uh, but that evidently there was a lot of trauma like that I experienced that I don't remember, that I don't even think about. But there was trauma there, and I had to deal with it. I know when my parents divorced, I had to, or I felt like I had to be the second adult in the household because my father whispered in my ear the day we left, because he kept the house, and they put it up on the market, and we just took our stuff and came down here to Oklahoma from Wyoming. But he put in my ear, take care of your mother, she's ill. I don't know. Mommy hasn't said anything to me about being sick. And so we get on our way, on our trip in the car, brother and sister in the back seat, and I'm in the front seat, and we're driving along on this boring Wyoming highway. um, and I'm up front trying to uh, entertain the children in the back and having them look at license plates, see how many license plates they can come up with that that match. And so they did that, and while they're looking out the back window at cars, they're not paying attention to what I'm talking to mommy about. So I asked mommy, Daddy told me to take care of you. because you're ill. What's wrong? Why are you ill? What's wrong with you? And I'm thinking physically ill. I'm not thinking that there's something wacky upstairs. But she's like, oh, I'm not sick. There's nothing wrong with me. Dad just probably thinks I am because I wanted a divorce, wanted to get away from him. I hated him. Maybe that's why he said what he did. But and it was further down the road that I then asked my father why he said that. And he said because she's mentally ill. She wanted this divorce for no reason. No reason at all. There was we were going along fine. You kids are doing good in school, blah, 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 blah. Everything's, should have been fine. Shouldn't have been all this uproar. So, you know, what am I to think? They're both sick. Maybe they're both mentally incapacitated. And I think in the long run, they were. Neither one of them were capable of being parents. My dad was the neighborhood drunk. Whenever he'd come driving down the road from work, you'd hear the kids down the street hollering, "Here comes the Darrington drunk! Watch out! Get on the sidewalk! Get in the grass!" And this is what we had to, as children, had to deal with. And you'd go in the house, and sure enough, Daddy popping a beer, mom has a drink in her hand while she's cooking dinner. Is it any wonder I'm having issues dealing with the abuse from my ex-husband? I lived neglect by my parents. And in living through that and surviving that, as children, we learn to cope with that stuff. And we do it in a fanciful way. Our life is not real. We tend to then, if we don't have a lot of friends, we then make up friends. We make up scenarios of how you think life should be. Like, to me, I used to think Norman Rockwell, the perfect family. You have mom at one end of the table, dad at the other end of the table, and you got the kids and the grandparents and aunts and uncles sitting around the holiday table. I never had that. I say I never had that. I never had it at home because nobody came to visit Casper, Wyoming. But we would go to Ardmore, Oklahoma to visit mom's family. And we'd go to Houston, Texas to visit dad's family around holiday times. And we would then have an adult table and a children's table because there were that many people. On mom's side of the family, there was probably, there was Aunt CH, no, I'm sorry, Aunt Louise, Aunt Nan, Nanelle, her husband, Jerry, Sharon, their 6 kids. And then you throw the 5 of us, you got 20, 30 people there. And then grandmas in Houston, we'd have us five: Grandma, Aunt CH, Aunt Adeline, Aunt Margaret, and her husband. Um, that's 10. And then their two kids, and then other cousins, because they all lived in the same kind of area. So we'd have 20, 30, 40 people at grandma's. And the adults sit in one area and the children sat in the other area. That's what I wanted to provide my children. They never got it. I never got to have a family meal like that. Why? Because with Junior and his family, they didn't get into stuff like that. With Wayne and his, they didn't either. I always tried to, set them up and get it done, but it was like pulling teeth. So I finally just gave up. And then when I met Martin, his family was a big family like that. And so I thought, oh boy, this is going to be great. We can have have meals like that. Yeah, no, that didn't work out because at the time, I did not realize that I was marrying a narcissist and I was going to lose myself. I was going to lose who I am and have to work this hard to get me back. But I have. And I'm back. Yes, I am. I really believe I'm back. And I'm going to be stronger and better than ever because I'm giving up on all the negativity that he brought into my life. It's gone. I am going to be such a positive person that's going to make people sick. But it's the way I have to do this. I have to make it. I have to be the one to make it work. I can't do it for anybody else. I have to do it for me. And I'll make it work. I'll get through it. I will be the strongest person. I will be me. And isn't that what we all want? To be ourselves and not let people dictate what we do in life, how we do it in life, when we do it in life. We have our life. We do it for us. That's the important thing. Doing things for yourself, not for anybody else. But being kind, generous, reflective, gracious, patient. One of my aunts taught me a little poem that states, patience, little girl with a smile on her face. Grace. Oh, fudgesicles. I lost it. I'm going to have to look it up. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Ah, fudgesicle.
it's finicky is what I think of it. It's like you got. That's why I'm calling and asking because I still feel like my mind is in nickel mode at times. I don't want to. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, fudgesicles. Patience is a virtue. Virtue is a grace. Grace is a pretty girl with a smile on her face. That and patience is a tough lesson to learn. It's tough to be patient. Um, Trust me. Um, I live with a 97-year-old mother and a 35-year-old son, and I'm 71. So, and I need to be patient with both of them. Not an easy thing every day. Some days are easier than others, but we're getting through it and we're getting by and we're loving one another and we're being patient with one another and doing good things for each other. We we do for ourselves what we have to, our personal care, self-care, but we also try to do for each other by making sure that everyone has what they need when they need it. And our lives are going quite well. But we still have to, we're still working through this. Because not only did I go through this trauma, my mother went through it. Yeah, she didn't deal with the prostitution and promiscuity, but it was done in a room near her, and so she heard a lot of stuff that she shouldn't have had to have been listening to. But my dumbass husband thought, oh, she's not going to hear anything. She can't hear nothing. She can barely hear the TV. Well, it's still not right because she has her door open and she can see men coming in and out of that room. It's just not right. And she had to deal with that. And I hated it. I hated it. I didn't want it for her. I didn't want it for me. Like I had said earlier, like I had told my ex husband, when his penis quits working, I will too. Well, his penis quit working 10, 15 years ago. We should have stopped it before we even got to Texas. But he was so stubborn that he had to do it. And now I was so stubborn, I had to get away from it. And I'm so glad I did because I am in such a better place. I don't weigh 250 pounds anymore. I'm not unhealthy. I feel great. I'm happy. I'm not having the anxiety and depression triggers that I used to have. I still have a little anxiety, but slim to none if you ask me about it. And the depression is, unless one of us, unless we get in a tiff, an argument at home, I don't I don't feel any depression. I don't get the headaches, the anxiousness, the just not feeling right. I feel right and I am right. And I'm going to take Snickers for a walk. Peace, love. You all just have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow's Friday. Friday, Friday, Friday. Friday night football. So, okay, talk to you later. Bye.